Joining us now to break down the day's top headlines is Diamond and Silk, the hosts of Diamond and Silk Chit Live. So ladies, last time we talked to you, we were actually talking about the idea that Americans don't care about a lot of the topics that we often talk about in the media. They care about things that protect them and their families and things that put money in their pocketbooks, dinner on their tables, things such as that. So acknowledging that point, will the economy once again be what's on voters' minds when they go to the ballot boxes in November?
Absolutely.
Yes.
The economy will be the first thing. And here's why. Because people are ready to get back to work.
That's
When we
right.
look at a lot of these states, how these governors have these states shut down and will not allow citizens to go back to work where they can feed their families and pay
Hmm.
their bills.
Right.
Yes, the economy is the number one thing on the mind. People want to get things back to moving, and they don't want to be drawn into fear and
That's right.
panic. They want to get back to work. So yes, the economy is the first thing that's on the American people
And
mind.
also, people want prosperity. People do not want to live an American nightmare. They want to obtain the American dream. And they can't do that by just staying home, running away, scared somewhere. People want success and prosperity. Allow them to do it. It's time to open back up this country and allow people the opportunity at life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And of course, when we talk about this topic, there's really a crisis on two separate fronts, one being a pandemic, a public health crisis, and then also an economic front as well, acknowledging exactly what you're saying, that lockdown orders are still taking place across the country. Some people are being
Hmm.
told not to go to church, not to go to work, not to go to whatever it may be. There's no sense of necessarily normalcy when it comes to many Americans. So the process then becomes, who do they trust to bring back this economy once we're past the public health prospect? On that front, do you think that President Trump is making that message clear to voters that he's the man to do that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. President Trump did it one time. He can do it again. He can
Again.
build it back stronger, bigger, and better than we've ever seen it before.
That's
So
right.
let us not get that twisted. Please ignore Jim Crow Joe.
Uh-huh.
Joe Biden is not going to do one thing for our economy.
No.
He's never built a job. He's never created a job. He don't know how to bring jobs back because he pushed for NAFTA and to send those jobs overseas.
That's right.
And remember, up under the Obama-Biden administration, they also was pushing for the TPP to send more of our jobs
over.
overseas.
That's right.
We don't want socialism. We don't want communism. We want capitalism and prosperity in this country. And that's why you're going to have to vote for President Donald J. Trump.
And you have to also remember, Joe Biden has been in government position in office for over 47 years. And 8 of those years, he was vice president to President Barack Hussein Obama. What have they did in 47 years? What did they do in 8 years? Joe Biden had his opportunity to do something for we the American people. And if he couldn't do it in 47 years, how is he going to be able to do it in 4 years?
That's right.
And in fact, you both bring up the idea that Joe Biden has this record, an extensive record that isn't necessarily always pro-worker. Diamond, you brought up the fact that he was for NAFTA, which killed productivity, especially in the Beltway. That is something where they really felt it. Those key states of Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania, states that will be crucial this time around. But we don't even have to go that far back. We could go back to 2008, coming out of the economic crisis, where we saw the worst growth, anemic growth, coming out of that crisis. And then you compare it with the president's record right before the coronavirus pandemic, in which we saw historic highs. So do you think that when the Biden campaign is making its pitch and the Trump campaign is making its pitch, those disparities will become clear to the average working American?
Absolutely. Because President Trump listen, you got Joe Biden, who's all talk and no action, but President Trump, he took action.
That's right.
So with him taking action, we get to see how he took action, how he brought back jobs. He did something that Obama said those jobs would never come back. You will have to wave a magic wand.
That's right.
Well, I guess the magic wand must have been President Donald J. Trump because those jobs came back. President Trump has built the most booming economy, prosperity. And this is the sad and sick stuff that I can't stand. You have the left that's doing everything they can to tank the economy, to keep the economy tanked, and then they push, Jim Crow Joe Biden out like he's the savior for the economy. It's an absolute no. Let me tell you something. If you allow people to go back to work, we wouldn't have to rebuild the economy. The economy would start rebuilding itself because now people are back to work because it was left strong, bigger, and better.
That's right.
Open up these here states and allow people to go back to work.
And before I let you two go too, this comes at a time where the nation is divided. There is a polarized political environment taking place right now, and these latest protests have played into that. But it's become clear that at least the short-term goal for the Biden campaign is to kind of keep him under the radar a little bit until it gets closer to Election Day. So acknowledging what the Biden campaign is doing, what do you want to see from the president coming right now? What type of tone and messaging do you want to see him delivering between now and the November election?
Can I just say one thing? The nation is not divided. This is manufactured. This is orchestrated by these white liberal Democrats to try to destroy this country. We are the United States, not the divided states. Okay, because what they're trying to do here is turn this country into a socialist, communist country like China. That's what they're trying to do.
That's right. They're the one that's pushing the racial divide.
That's right.
But we as American patriots, we are united.
That's right.
And the president continued to say, you want to keep America great again.
That's right.
Make America great again. That's what the president needs to continue to do. And I believe people's eyes are opening up. They're seeing, they're understanding exactly how the left has manipulated the public, how the left-wing media has manipulated the public.
Right.
And to going along with their narrative, and it's not going to work. I call it psychological warfare.
That's exactly
but
what it is.
people are waking up and they see what time it is. And listen, they're going to be voting for President Donald J. Trump.
So they're going to be voting red.
R-E-D, remove every Democrat.
Wow, that's good, actually. I hope you trademark that, because someone's going to steal it from you if you don't. But I think you're right about one thing. I think it's the idea that the media does like to play up those polarizations because it makes good TV. But when you look at polls or when you talk to average Americans, they're okay with protesting, but they almost are exclusively against rioting, against looting, things of that nature. And I think the media doesn't necessarily like to say that. They either want to say that the protests are completely peaceful or they're completely unlawful and rioting. I think you're right. I think that there is a middle ground. I think that the American people do have more in common than you'd like to see if you were to turn on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, whoever you pick, because there is profit to be made by that polarization. I think you're exactly right. But Diamond and Silk, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having us.